Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. This is Raydeen Esau with the Raydeen Esau Foundation. Today's topic is going to be about, is homosexuality a sin? And what is homosexuality? And how did it come about? And are you really born this way? Or is it a way that you can be transformed into this type of life? This is a topic not to down anyone who is homosexual. This is simply a topic to dissect many lives. And the reason why it's so confusing is because our teachings and books have been suppressed, and a lot of things have been taken out of our books that leaves us with little to choose from. And we don't understand what these things mean. Now, the cycle of life is a part of the universe. There is nothing that is here that has not already been. This is stated in basically every spiritual teaching. Everything is a recyclement of something else, a form of reincarnation. There is no one who walks this earth now, or any beast that walks this earth, that did not exist in some form, shape, or fashion in a previous life. Everything evolved from something smaller to graduate to a higher form of perfection, which the next form of the human would be the immortal. The next form of the immortal would be to merge back into the all or become one with the creator, existing but not existing. So, reincarnation is very real. And a lot of us that are living now is a product of our karma. The way you are born has a lot to do with your previous life and your actions in this life. For the man had eyes and did not use them. In his next life, he was born blind, only to teach him the cosmic lesson of the value of his eyesight. This man would not walk to make anything happen. He did not use his legs at all. In the next life, this man is lame. He wished he could walk. He learns his lesson due to his karma. One thing about the law of nature is the will of God, simply the law of the universe. If the sun did not rise in the morning, it would be against the will of God or against the law of nature, which would be a very bad woe. There is lessons in life that we need to learn, and these lessons are very simple, but our philosophies and our beliefs have clouded them so that we can't see them. If you go and look at the 50 laws of the universe, you will also understand why I'm speaking on today. Now, about homosexuality, is it wrong or is it okay? Or well, we were born this way. Okay. Let's take, for example, that you were a woman in your past life and you hated men. You despised them. You could not stand a man. You felt that you could do just as much as he could. You felt that he was treated better, or you felt like you were treated unfairly compared to the man or the masculinity or the masculine of the man. You hated him with a passion. Well, 9 times out of 10, if you live your life this way, in your next journey of life, you will be born as a man to undergo the masculine life of the man, to understand the man. This is where the problem comes in. With the soul not understanding or being confused within his own mind as of why he's like this. Because you were a woman and hated men, now in your next life you are a man. But you still feel as you are a woman in the inside, but your outer shell shows a man. So therefore, you display feminism in a man's body. This is the same thing vice versa. If you are a man and you hate women, you despise women for some reason, you will be born a woman to undergo a woman or the feminine side of life. Now, where the wrongdoing comes in homosexuality, for one, not understanding the cycle of life, and for two, not playing your part in nature. Now, you were born a woman to experience the feminism of being a woman, or the feminine side of the example or creation, should I say. You were born a man to experience the masculine of the male side of creation. If you denounce that role and carry on as you feel in the inside, then you have abandoned your role. You have abandoned the mission. And this is how the karmic cycle continues to turn. When you don't realize your lesson, you abandon the lesson, you drop out, in other words, then you fail the course. So what you have in homosexuality is a gay man or a feminine man who once was a woman in his previous life, but now he has been transformed to a man to undergo the masculine side of life, to understand that all is one and one is all. If he denies his masculine shell and continues his feminism, then he becomes a gay man or a feminine man. And this is where the will of God is destroyed. This is where the law of nature is destroyed. And this is where the abomination takes place. Not to say that you are wrong for anything, but you have to play your role. Everyone has to play their role at the right time. For example, if you have a band and someone has a certain instrument or some such, but they refuse to play this instrument and they drop the instrument. They say, I don't want to play this, but we're not asking you to play this instrument all the time. We're asking you to play your role so the rest of the band can be on beat and we can make good music. But if you abandon your role, then you let the whole system down. And this is where you will always be in a karmic wheel. You will always die, be reborn to learn a lesson, but not understand the lesson. And this is very important that we need to hear this. People embrace being homosexual. Homosexual is not something bad. It's just a confused person. It's a person that actually was what they feel they were. But in this life, they were transformed into the opposite to undergo the life of the opposite that they once hated. And this is the lesson that they needed to learn in order to grow spiritually. Now, if they abandon that lesson, then they become what we know as a homosexual. And this is an F on a report card. You dropped out of the course. You have not focused, you have not done your homework, and you have not played your role. If a dog says meow, this is against the law of nature. We know what is supposed to happen according to nature and what is not supposed to happen according to nature. This is a part of our wisdom that we all have, our inner wisdom. And we need to open up and understand who we are, what roles we have to play in this life journey so that we can graduate spiritually and be reborn a higher entity instead of a lower or the same. This is something that needs to be taught and needs to be dissected and understood. There's nowhere in the scriptures where it states that being a homosexual is a sin. A sin and abomination are not the same things. A sin is going against a deliberate law or a law that is well understood, and you deliberately break this law for your own satisfaction or your own enjoyment or whatnot. An abomination is simply going against the key laws of the universe, the foundational laws of the epic of existence. And this is something that we need to know. And as I've said, gay man is nothing more than a woman in his past life who could not snap out of the feminism and realize his role now is to be a man. They still want to hold on to the feminism, and therefore they transform themselves into a homosexual. And it's vice versa. Same thing with a female as well. And this is a problem with most people. They are homophobic or telling people to be proud to be who they are. But you should be proud of who you are. Don't get me wrong on that one. But the thing about it is, first you have to know yourself. You have to find your mission, understand your mission, and complete the mission. You can't abandon the mission. If you were born a man, then your journey here is to be a masculine man. If you were born a woman, then your journey here is to be a feminine woman. Feminine and masculine creates the equal existence. They all join together and create one peaceful union. You have to understand both sides to understand the whole life prospect from both ways. And this is true within the law of the universe. Now, the question that people say and argue about, was I born this way? Or I was just born this way? Or can I be transformed into this? Being homosexual is a form of feeling. It is not something that was done to your physical body or your carnal flesh. As far as being a victim of molestation or a victim of rape or assault, sexual assault, these things can happen if they lower your guard, so to say, or your self-esteem, or you are beaten down and you just accept it. But deep down inside, you're not that way. These are transformed homosexuals. Really not homosexuals, but have convinced themselves that they are, and therefore they carry on as one. But the higher percentage of homosexuality, these people are actually born this way because it is a feeling in the energy of their soul, their sex. All souls have sex. No soul is just a soul. It all has energies and it all carries sex. Each soul is either masculine or feminine, and it manifests in that form when it is introduced into the physical plane. And this is what you get when you are born, either a man or a woman. Same way with everything in life. There is no species that does not have a masculine and a feminine. Now, there are some amphibious creatures who carry both sexes, but those are amphibian creatures, and we're mainly speaking about the humanoid specimen or the human being, so to say, when it goes to homosexuality. And another question that someone had asked me, they asked that can homosexuality exist in animals? Well, yeah, it can. It's very rare, but it can. I have seen it myself throughout my years of growing up and being around animals, mainly canines species. I have seen these things. I have seen them in other forms of beasts as well. And these forms of animals that act out this act or display this activity suffers through the exact same thing that I've just got through speaking about when it comes to human sex. It's all one and the same. There is no difference when it comes to the beast or the man. Just the man is just a higher form of intelligence, a higher form of form. It's a higher form than an animal. But it's all the same result for the same action. This is the karmic law.